Sorry, I was getting some echo right there on my end. Welcome to Final Fantasy Randomizer right here in the SpeedGaming Live 2020 tournament. I am Darkmoon EX, joined in the booth by Edgeworth. Hey, how's it going over there?
It's going all right. It got colder here, but that's about it.
I mean, that's not entirely terrible. Well, we're already started. Oh, okay. So, hey there. We've got Blurst weapons we're checking. Ooh, a cat claw +5. That's, the cat claw is not a weapon I normally would grab, but I don't hate to see that there. Heal 3, Warp Temper, Ice 3. Edge, how you feeling about this?
This is kind of rough for the red mage because it's 4 spells that you want, but you can only get 3 of them. So I would probably take 1 warp and 1 heal 3, but Elastoid's doubling up on the warp.
I probably agree with you on that. The warp is a nice spell. I don't know that right now, especially this early in the game, I necessarily need 2 casts of it.
Well, I mean, you're going to have an absolute ton of... you're going to have an absolute ton of casts of heal 3 and warp by the end of the game. So just the amount of potions that you're going to save and the amount of menuing that you're going to save makes heal 3 pretty worth it if you can get it early.
Not sure if everyone heard us right there. We are hosting Final Fantasy Randomizer right here in the SpeedGaming Live 2020 tournament. Welcome and enjoy. We have just started getting going. Just a little bit of, stuff going on right here at the very beginning of the game. And I see jkoper is... I don't think that's a reroll. I think he's just... No, that might be a reroll, actually, in fact. What did you, considering the party he took, did you see anything there that made the reroll worth it, Edge?
Well, I didn't see the party that he took originally. What was it?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, because he's taking the party that I usually take for this, so I feel good about that, but, I mean, Elastoid has kind of this aggressive double red mage in the front slot kind of group, and, it's interesting. I don't think, I think keeping your mages alive in the early going is pretty important, though. So we'll see how this turns out.
So let's talk about this. I know I've seen you through most of the tournament that we've had so far running this fighter black belt red black party, and to the point that other people have noticed how it's been working for you, and they've switched to this meta as well. Can you explain why this party works so well for you?
No, this is something I kind of cooked up in conjunction with Cheesinator. We've been talking strategy a lot, and the rationale that I had behind it was fighter is pretty good with the absorb early game. Like, we all know, give him a sword, you can do some good damage early on. The thing is, all of the items are in incentive locations except for the canal. And whether the canal is required or not makes a real big difference on whether fighter is good or bad.
Okay.
If you're looking for the canal early, you're opening a ton of chests. And if you're opening, say, 70, 80 chests, you're probably going to find one of the big 3. And since we're playing with Blurst weapons, one of those big 3 is probably going to be pretty good. And you can skip out on the black belt grind. On the other hand, if you don't find your endgame weapon, or you get something early like, here's a canoe, and here's a floater from the king, then you can just go into the super go mode and just kill off the knight and plan on doing a black belt grind without opening too many chests.
And floater could still be in the cards. We did actually get a canoe from Princess Sarah, I believe, while the king gave us the tail. So early promotion could, in fact, be on the table, making that black belt just a little bit less worth it.
The other thing with the early canoe as well is it incentivizes you to check out Volcano and Ice early. And Volcano and Ice are not very fun places to be if you don't have a lot of absorb. and the fighter excels at that, especially with blurst weapons on. So yeah, that fighter could put on, say, that +6 Iron Gauntlet that we just saw, and take a pretty sizable punch early game.
So we got Fade and Dollar Store Fade right here. That would be Harm 4. Only good against the undead, but it does do Fade-like damage against them. And what, like Ice 2 and Slow 2 and the Black Magic? The White Magic shop is the one to go with, so your Red Mages... I mean, the Red Mages that Elastoid has there. The thing that I noticed was about a 9 grand TNT sitting in the shop. Elastoid is sailing away. I've seen others in the tournament go and do a quick impromptu pop grind here. Where do you rest with that?
It all depends on how many chests I have available to me in the beginning of the game. If I haven't checked out Matoya's Cave and I haven't checked out Dwarves, I'm probably going to gamble that I can scrape together the money off of what I open in those chests. If I can't, well, we're doing a pop grind.
I would feel really bad about going and checking those other chests after finding the TNT at Provoca and then having to sail back to Provoca to do a pop grind afterwards.
Yeah, I guess the other option, too, is you have that early canoe and you don't necessarily know... level 3 nuke. Wow, It's a good day to be a red mage.
Nuke and Lock. Lock being a great spell to slow down our potentially evasive bosses. Invis 2, but second slot, you do want a white mage if you're going to get that.
Yeah, and Heal 2 looks nice on the surface, but you're never going to not cast Nuke out of that slot, so I can imagine why he passed that up. Glove plus 4? Nothing to sneeze at. Cat plus 1, pretty solid too.
I'll take those. I mean, throw those on your mages. They're going to be happy. That Iron 3 armor to go with that Iron 4 gauntlet you showed off earlier. That's nice.
So yeah, just the fact that you have iron, silver, and chain armor, and possibly even wood armor to start off early, and the fighter can equip all of those. They tend to, one of those 4 is probably going to roll pretty high, and you can just roll with that until about the end of the game with the way these stats have, the blur stats are configured.
So jkoper making the move to go over here to Crescent Lake, gonna see what the sages have for us. I think he's still banking on getting that floater out of the way right now.
Yeah, I mean, that if that's the case, that would certainly help out a lot.
Maybe. I mean, could still be there. Crown doesn't necessarily rule out early floaters still.
No, but now you have a decision to make. You're also real close to Volcano as well, and you can kind of... Do you feel like sneaking out? Silver plus bracelets plus 3, pretty solid mage armor as well.
That's dollar store gold bracelets right there, practically. It's nice. I like that. I am a fan. I mean, admittedly, you are much better at this game than I am, but I am a fan of dipping into Volcano, checking out those tiles there, and grabbing that first floor worth of treasure, because there's just so many treasure chests in that armory.
So that's, again, one of those things where, when do I decide to check that in this flag set? And it's only if I need the canal. If I don't, or I'm not sure if I need the canal, I might skip over those. They do take a fair amount of time to get through.
They do. It's a marginally safe floor. It's not a super safe floor. I definitely, at the levels they're at right now with the gear they have, I would not recommend going down and trying to take out Carrie after you're done here, even though you're in the area. This is a double dip play if you're going to do it.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm surprised that both players are as low level as they are. I will take pretty much every single fight in the river on the way through, especially with double fade or ice
double
3
fade
in the cards.
And nuke, back it up. Yeah.
Because that's about as good experience as you can get from...
Well, okay then.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But that's about as good as the experience gets from like level 5 to level 7.
So that Mazamoon, if they do end up deciding to go and do the pop grind after all, that Mazamoon does tend to put that a little better on the table, just because your fighter is going to actually be able to take out some of the enemies your spells do not.
Well, this also kind of shifts your priorities as well. That Mazmoon is going to help Elastoid get a grind off a little bit earlier.
Yep.
But it's going to help jkoper so much more with that fighter, almost to the point where, you throw the black belt in the front row right now and just put it all on the fighter.
Well, yeah, you have the silver bracelets +3 that we found that the black belt can wear. Practically wearing a gold bracelet with that. Their armor situation is decent. Their weapon situation is now decent until they get to the point where they can just punch things down. It's that whole thing I was saying about maybe fighting Carry isn't a good idea right now. Depending upon the tiles they find here, grab a couple quick levels, and Carry may actually not be all that difficult now.
So this is one of the reasons that I would like to get a house as well. Carry is probably not going to be very difficult if you have your full complement of spell charges. But right now, neither one can really recharge what they're doing. So it is a little bit more difficult to, collect everything, be on your last nuke, run out the door, save, and go back in.
Yeah. Gonna actually make the play up to these chests up here. Obviously, still looking for that canal. Still worrying where it might be. The loose canal is interesting, just by grace of the fact that it's a loose item that doesn't technically have to be in any of the incentive areas. It's just out there.
It's a situation where there's a lot of room to gamble. You could just decide to go mode anyway and hope that you pull your floater out of ice or volcano, or maybe even just return with the crown and see what you get.
Koper did have a house. Oh, and now he's part of the trans party. Yeah, that's a good reset right there.
And I think jkoper is also playing on actual hardware as well, and that's a little bit more difficult. You can certainly do the encounter manipulation with resets a lot faster with emulator.
We do have a controller bind in there that you can use on the second player, but it's not quite as fast, it's not as responsive as if you play on emulator.
Yeah, shoutouts to Darkwing Duck for putting in that suggestion. It definitely has helped a lot of the physical players, match up with the time savings on emulator.
It's interesting to see Koper come in here. We already have the divergence here at the 12-minute mark as Elastoid is fighting his way down into Ice Cave to see what he manages to find. Now, thing is, having not gone to Volcano, not wanting to do that double dip play, he does not have access to that Mazamoon just yet. And the slab is not going to help us immediately.
Yeah, and this is a group that you definitely do not want to be ambushed by. You don't want to see them at all, in fact.
Yeah, that trance party, thankfully they only decided to use it once so far, and only got one of his people with it. That could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah, so jkoper is kind of just taking the sort of the greed line that you'll see. All of the chests that take only 1 or 2 steps to get to. So he's doing the skip that I discussed, while Elastoid seems to be more content to do the full clear. But this is a terrifying group to run into, and I think Elastoid may have bitten off more than he can chew here.
Thing is, right now it's terrifying. Certainly, I agree with that. However, long term, and we're going to see just exactly how bad their health situation is. Health situation is getting worse and worse. They could have been a viable grind if they weren't taking like 600, 700 health to kill.
And that is the big problem with this group. And I think Elastoid is gonna cut his losses here. So
nope, right out.
And we've discovered that, well, Ice Cave isn't it. Neither is Volcano. What is going to be the big item that gets the rest of the world opened up for our runners?
Well, Ice Cave isn't it so long as the canal isn't floating somewhere in either of these dungeons here. The problem is they haven't. Neither of them have checked all the chests here. So if the canal is the thing that's blocking them from being able to access maybe like the Earth Cave incentive that has the thing that unlocks the rest of their dungeons here. That is a problem for both of them.
And speaking of problems, jkoper just got snaked, so he doesn't even get to hang on to that item. But it was only the Oxyel anyway, so he can go back and get that later. It will be a time loss, but Volcano is pretty quick to zip through.
He can get it later, and he got the Masamune out already and saved that. I think, all things considered, that's the bigger win for him.
Yeah, now that you have your victory condition, you can kind of plan everything else around that.
Jkoper gonna head his way over to this ice cave, gonna find those worms, gonna find their stuff. Ooh, that Hydra did not want to play fair.
And on Elastoid side, we see the FFR special. Nuke 3 peds and then run away from the 4th.
It's like the RNG knows somehow. Now, thing is, I'm not certain either of these guys are actually wearing any of those silver bracelets we had. jkoper should have enough money for it with the gear and stuff that he got that he could probably sell from Volcano. It's curious to me that he's not going back to buy them before he ventures into another potentially dangerous dungeon.
Alright, and now Elastoid is going to be... It looks like he's sailing to Volcano. And if it turns out that Crown leads to our floater, both of them are going to be real mad.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Or like Crown blocking the key-locked room by Astos that has the canal in it.
Yeah, key-locked canal, also a nightmarish possibility. Same with Marsh Cave Canal.
I mean, people in chat are commenting that they haven't gone and checked the Crown yet, and like, I know that it's the temptation is there, but you're on this side of the world, and you really hate to leave this side of the world while you're here. As chat is asking and pointing out, yes, the Crown came from the Circle of Sages. Ice Cave had the slab, and Oxyel is lurking at the Red D chest in Volcano.
Yeah, I don't mind putting it off to check Volcano, but I think putting it off to check Ice might be a little bit ambitious. Especially because with all the money that you pull out of Volcano, you can always swing back to Elfland and buy the level 4 spells, and that'll make your life a lot easier. Yeah, certainly if I didn't have Warp or Exit, I would probably head straight back to see what that Crown is. If I have to do a whole nother loop through Ice Cave, I probably want experience off of Astos plus whatever is on those tiles that are in Northwest Castle. Hopefully you get the key.
Apparently my microphone didn't pick me up. I was saying, I think there's something to be said for maybe playing the seed as well as the player, and it may just be that jkoper, knowing the kind of player Elastoid is and the things he likes to do, may just be trying to anticipate and saying that the Ice Cave play is the play to make.
Metagaming your opponent. There's nothing but madness down that path. Like, I get it, and if you can do it well, you can definitely punch above your weight class, but I don't do it well, so I don't even try.
Yeah, but to be fair, you kind of are the weight class in most of these tournaments.
I mean, we're missing the last two tournament winners, so or the spring tournament and the fall tournament.
Gotta uphold the flag for them there.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now, as far as the items we've found, the Crown is the only thing that actually can immediately lead to anything for us, because Cube and Slab and even, frankly, Tail aren't going to help us until we find other things to supplement them.
Yeah, I think probably the worst thing that I could imagine they would find here is the ruby, because then that's just a giant warning sign for anyone that turns the crown in that, hey, you should find the canal. Time to open everything again.
Did you check all the chests in those dungeons you went to? Because if you didn't, you might have wanted to. Or you go to Marsh Cave, because everyone loves Marsh Cave.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the reasons why I liked it. If I have to do this sort of rightward swing through the world, I want to be a much higher level than these players are right now.
Final Fantasy Randomizer is, let's be honest, a little bit of a weird game, because sometimes it punishes you, like even when you're level 20 and you go into Marsh Cave, and other times you can do the spicy level 4 play into Ice Cave and the game just unfolds for you. So, like, it's hard to anticipate what the game is expecting.
Yeah, so at the same time, though, you can at least baseline it, like, what am I going to face as far as physical attacks go, and kind of work your strategy from there. 7 packs of Wraiths hit pretty hard. Just gonna put that out there.
And while we're here, the thing we didn't want to forget, but I actually honestly forgot, we've been waiting on TNT this whole time, and that could lead to progression as well over at Dwarves.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that did a pop grind could have had the floater at like 12 minutes, so we'll see.
Yeah, you never know. It could have been an 8-minute floater seat, and they could have already been off and at like Cardia Isles or something.
Yeah, but also consider if they did the pop grind early and then did the rightward swing, how much better off they would have been in levels.
Mm-hmm. That Ice Cave probably would have been a lot more manageable.
Oh no!
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Angry called it. Always check your incentives.
Yeah, I think that's a rule for pretty much every randomizer. So Elastoid apparently washed out a volcano, comes back in to get that Masamune again, and now he's off and running. And we'll likely get the good news about that floater.
Well, we got an orb lit, so I think that was a successful try.
Was that an orb lit? I didn't realize, because I saw him grab the Masamune earlier, and then he went back in to get it again.
Oh, maybe not.
Nope, that's an orb. That is an orb. He just menus very quickly. You are correct. So he must have wiped early when he had the Maza and had to go back in and get it after he didn't carry, which is a bold move.
That's a little weird, but okay.
I mean, Cotton, it actually did pay out for him, but that's a bold move.
It's cool. He doesn't need a sword. So, good news, no canal required.
Considering that, then they aren't going to be punished for not checking all the chests at the places they went to.
No, Elastoid's going to get punished for not saving in the sea, though. It's lit up. Oh, we have Cure 4 that is Red Mage post-promotion learnable. So,
I like it.
I don't...
That's nice.
I like it, but that's a long way to go back for it. I would have felt better skipping it if I had heal 3, though.
The unfortunate thing is, if they want to make sure they have the protection they need from magical attacks, the fact that Wall is White Mage locked as well is a little sucky for them.
So that's another reason why it's good to bring the black belt, because sometimes you just don't find any ribbos.
Ribbos, of course, being the name for the ribbons when Blurst is on, since more than likely the N of the name is going to get cut off.
Ribbo +1.
Yeah, so the ribbons are an interesting piece of gear, and for people that aren't familiar with this game, or just coming in, this might be the first or second time you've ever seen Final Fantasy Randomizer. Ribbons are fantastic. They essentially make you immune to just about every status attack, 3 in 256 chance of it getting through, which is minimal, and they cut the damage on all the elemental attacks as well. They're fantastic equipment. With a black belt in your party, you may or may not necessarily want to have a ribbon on just because of the way that black belts and equipment work.
Yeah, sometimes when you level them up high enough, actually having them with gear on is a liability.
Yeah. Their fists are better than any weapon you can put on them past a certain point, which is like 24-ish, depending on blursing and so forth. And at a certain point, because of the way their natural stats grow, actually putting armor on them is less effective than letting them run around naked. So yeah, I mean, black belts really don't need gear at a certain point, but there's still that chance the ribbon may or may not be worthwhile.
I mean, you'll never turn down a ribbon, but how critical is it to get one, especially going into a Temple of Fiends dive? On the 5 instant deaths that you see in the spell pool become that much more terrifying when you don't have one.
There was that reaction from Elastoid we were waiting for.
He's got it. He's got an orb though, so he's not doing too bad. But he probably feels like he's behind.
Okay, so Edge, you are here at this point, maybe an orb under your belt, and you have the floater in your hand, and it's a 27-minute mark. Where are you headed next?
I'm going to collect as many incentive locations as I possibly can, just to boost the experience total that I'm going to pick up. jkoper finds gold bracelets +5 for sale, which is absolutely amazing if you're going for a black belt strategy. So Elastoid is going to be real pleased to find that.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't find an opal bracelet, you've already gotten like some of the best gear you're going to get. An opal bracelet with a bonus might actually beat that, but you're only going to find one, and a +5 on the gold is fabulous.
We had a question in chat. What calculates the touch effects from enemies? And it's just a straight calculation against magic defense. So, black belts in the front row, not too likely to get paralyzed. Still a 3 in 256 of it happening though.
But as chat pointed out just a little bit ago, and I was going to comment, and then we got caught up in something else. The ribbon will protect you against spells cast against you, but it does not protect you from touch effects. The only thing that protects against that is your character's MDef, and MDef growth in Final Fantasy, this original Final Fantasy, is not as good as you might like.
No, and as anyone who has done a Temple of Fiends dive can attest to, mages wilt under the sweltering heat of a nuke. And I guess that's another thing to credit the ribbon for as well, because if you don't resist things like Thunder or Inferno, you're in pretty big trouble too.
It's something that the game spoils you with when you've got the gear that helps to protect you from it. You don't think about how dangerous some of those elemental and non-elemental spells can be just by grace of your MDef and so forth. Some of those skills and spells that the fiends have at the end of the game can really damage you if you're not prepared for them.
Yeah, I mean, Inferno is stronger than everything except Nuke. It's pretty ridiculous. All right, so jkoper firmly committing to the knight strategy, promoting and digging out free chests.
And this is, if we had divergence before, but this is definitely the place where the divergence will really start, because they essentially, with that canoe, have the entire world open to them, aside from, you know, some parts of the actual dungeons themselves. So they're going to be going all over the place in different directions.
So nuclear, and swirl, whether or not they do full damage is just a straight up MDef check. Sometimes you resist it, sometimes you don't. A lot of times you're not going to resist it.
Yeah, nuke is so scary because of just how high you have to be with your MDef check to be able to protect against it. Metal slimes on one of the Hall of Giants tiles.
Yeah, but unfortunately they also have first strike.
Yep, they're very ambushy, and well, and this splitting this experience over 3 characters makes the metal slimes not the best investment. They're much better if you can take them out with a single character, but we haven't found like their weakness yet. The fire stick, the mage staff. I don't know that I would take out. I don't know that I'd be trying this tile 3 times, honestly.
Was that Bane Sword as a dud item on jkoper's side?
I didn't actually see. I was noticing Elastoid get destroyed down. What did you see on jkoper's side?
So the slab turn in is a dud, but it's not a horrendous dud because it is the Bane Sword. That is pretty helpful in quite a few fights.
Freaking up confirms with you, and that's, I mean, of all the duds to get.
So one of the nice things about the Bane Sword is that it can be almost as good as the Mage Staff if you find a pack of Gurmadeuses.
It does open up potential for jkoper if he finds a good grind tile that's susceptible to it.
But also, you can do Brack strats and then have your fighter throw the Banes into Tiamat and Kraken as well. It's just a really nice item to have. But with the way the magic rolled and so many fades and nukes, I don't think it's going to be too pivotal. Unless, you know, someone hits a Hail Mary Bane on a Topher feed.
So I saw Elastoid go back for that Mazamoon, but his black belt is not swinging it.
It's
Case in point, yeah, he was punching that Iron Gall for 3 damage.
It's a bold strategy, Elastoid.
Yeah, but grind tile has been found. The Earth Elemental tiles are Iron Galls, and the Iron Gall has maybe around 400-ish health. Like, a good Mazamoon swing can take it out. Considering Elastoid is like fully invested in that black belt strat long term, that Iron Gall is potentially the way to go for him.
He's kind of set up reasonably well for it. If those red mages get some more health, he can do 3-man and 2-man grinds to just throw nukes in there until the black belt is strong enough to take care of that on his own.
Yep. No, it's a good one. We haven't seen anything so far in the Earth floors that make like walking out of there afterwards with a solo black belt particularly dangerous.
Now, was that behind the metal slimes though? Because that might be pretty inconvenient.
Elemental tile.
Yep. Then he's fine.
That's a great tile right there. I mean, I can see not doing the grind here just yet, because you potentially want to pick up a few more key items first to help drive the experience bonus we get per key item in this flag set. but like long term, that would be the place I would be grinding.
So Iron Goal, pretty great experience. Not exactly the fastest group. I feel like in this flag set, you're kind of looking for double fighter or 3 eyes most of the time.
I don't disagree. I love those tiles. I think they're great tiles. It's you're 35 minutes into a flag set that potentially is hour 10, depending upon how you do it. I've seen times come in around that regularly. You don't want to spend too much time looking for a good tile.
It's interesting too because I feel like this could be easily one of those hour-long seeds if only they had turned the crown in first.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of those ones where the seed is like, I'm presenting this to you, why are you not following it?
Because last time I followed it, you gave me a cabin.
Yeah, the Sarda special of the key, quote-unquote, key item cabin. Gotta love that. We had a question in chat asking if Trance was on the ooze or the arachnids. I didn't see anything from the spider, but we've already seen that the mucks have Trance on them.
Oh,
That's the arachnid, so that's 2.
so mucks and arachnids, which means two enemies in Marsh Cave. So it's nice that it wasn't required.
Yeah, I'm not going to Marsh Cave until I have to at this point. So while Elastoid is finishing out Earth Cave, getting his second crystal lit, jkoper is diving into Earth Cave, hopefully to get his first crystal lit.
And looks like jkoper has a pretty, pretty solid idea of what chests to grab along the way. Being greedy with these 3, usually not too bad. Only adds like another encounter on.
Well, with the power of his black belt that he's going to be going, he already got the Mazamoon. He knows where gold +5s are. I think we've already seen where pro rings are. All he really needs to do is grind for some money, get his equipment going, and he's from shops, and he's done. Like, anything beyond incentive chests is just because he wants to, not because it's required.
Okay, so here's another credit for the fighter. Incredibly cheap steel +6 armor, and that gets ridiculous real quick.
Yeah, you throw your meat shield up front. If you decide to have a black belt, you can grind them afterwards, and then you just have a guy to stand up there and take hits for a while and ignore them while he buffs his fingernails.
And I mean, the thing is, there are a lot of enemies in Temple of Fiends who are dangerous because they hit you so many times. And if you got a steel +6 going against Kraken, well, your knight is pretty likely to survive that versus, just regular steel armor.
Because it's important to note that +6 adds on not only +2 per point, so +12, as I'm doing math on Twitch, because it's chest armor, it adds +12 to the defense of the steel, but it also adds +12 to the evade, making you a lot faster and having a lot easier time avoiding the hits you're taking. So we did have a question in chat asking if this was a forced party, or if they were able to do anything they wanted with this. Parties are not forced or drafted unless both characters agree to it.
Vorpal -3. Into the trash it goes.
You got a vanilla Mazamoon. Vorpal at that point is vendor trash.
Oh, so I I have had some pretty good luck with the +5 and +6 Vorpals in these seeds. They do some pretty ridiculous damage without requiring tempers.
Oh yeah, +5 +6 is great. -3, no.
No, -3 is I don't know. You're kind of hoping you just run into some sucker that'll buy it.
This is a great sword that I found, totally cheap, worth buying. Also, I have a bridge and Melman to sell you. So Elastoid, following this quote-unquote dud, gonna at least get his Bane sword from this, which he doesn't even care about.
Into the toilet it goes. jkoper gets a crystal.
Elastoid's Bane sword joining the Vorpal -3.
I mean, I just hope since Hangry's here that Elastoid throws it out the window.
Aiming for the fans. Looks like Elastoid is thinking about whether or not he wants to go do ordeals. Flies away instead. Give us a lovely air tour of the world. Flying back up. I think he's going for his grind already.
Yeah, so double nuke is definitely needed for those iron goals. They rolled pretty high.
For the first little while, and especially if he hasn't put the Masamune on his black belt yet. We're about to find out.
Oh.
Yep, that's a punch. Okay.
Alright, so this isn't gonna be the fastest of grinds, and Elastoid's gonna have to probably 2-man this to 32, which is gonna slow it down even more. So this is going to give jkoper some time to catch up, because right now, jkoper doesn't really need to grind at all.
I'm honestly, despite going in and grabbing it twice, I'm honestly wondering if Elastoid has forgotten about the Masamune, or if maybe he bought it solely to sell it.
I mean, it would be pretty good to use right here, but we've got other plans.
So we got Oxiel, we got Rod, we've got Cube and Chime. We know where everything to unlock the game is except for the key. Once we find key, we are in item go mode.
And right now, we've seen neither player go into ordeals, so that's on the table. The incentive... Waterfall. I think jkoper's been through Waterfall already. He picked up an herb.
Did he? Okay, cool. And he may actually be flying over to... Or not, okay.
Yeah, he needs to pick up his Oxiel again, so this is a pretty good time to do it. You know, exacting
While
revenge.
Elastoid is busy doing his grind, jkoper has a chance to get this crystal lit and maybe catch up across the board, and from the looks of it, do a bit of a walking grind in the process, which I don't hate.
There's plenty of opportunity for that in ordeals onward. Waterfall and Sky Palace also on the table, also containing a ton of experience-rich enemies. He's about at level 14, 15 right now, so that kind of matches up pretty nicely with, you know, go to ordeals, then hit one of those other dungeons.
One of the benefits for jkoper is that the longer Elastoid spends on his grind, the more time jkoper has to do his walking, to do his key checks and his crystal collection, and it helps him to catch up a lot. Elastoid is going to be a freight train once his black belt makes it to like 32, 42, but up to that point, jkoper could catch up and even potentially put him on a bit of a lead there.
So another reason you want to bring the fighter, the black belt is Well, let's put it this way: they're made of butter early. They are just going to get cut apart by everything, and they don't really turn into actual damage dealers until level 21.
The Crucible of Fire is required to remake them.
A steady diet of Agama.
Elastoid with the money now buying those gold bracelets. He may be doing that so that he can get a better grind going, since the Iron Galls were hitting for a lot. Because at 23, he really doesn't have the levels yet to make that black belt truly worth it. And yeah, here we go, right back in here again. So chat, while we're getting a grind on here, if you have any Iron Gall facts you want to share, now is the perfect time. Still punching for nothing. Although apparently not Iron Galls. Apparently we're going for Metal Slimes.
Well, this is also not the greatest style because they have ambush bias, but maybe he just wants to get one of the red mages killed. Why don't we have any pumice goals?
Compass Ghouls?
Yeah. Too fragile.
So jkoper does have 2 crystals, and he's going to start hitting places that we have not, as of yet, seen Elastoid make it to. This is where he gets to try and build up as much of a lead as he possibly can before Elastoid catches back up.
Yeah, he definitely needs to... Well, he hasn't turned the urban yet either, which is kind of surprising. But this is an incentive location as well. And if he can pop the key out of this, or the loot, he'll be in pretty good shape. But this is also a pretty good place to get levels. I like that vampire pack, just gunning it down with Fade or Nuke. The hot dog's also not too bad, but no, jkoper's saving charges for the upper levels. Oh, you know, jkoper is quite fond of the Mudgol sorcerer fights that are on the bridge, so he's probably saving some charges for that group. You know, I wonder if he just wants a ribbon for safety as well, because we just have not seen one of those.
I mean, Hangry raises a good point in chat. With so much Fade and Nuke in your collection, I mean, level 3 Nuke, level 2 Fade, and we've also found elemental spells of Lightning and Fire as well. Like, oh, and Incentivized White Shirt. That's nice. Like, killing, I wouldn't fight the air here, but killing everything that's even marginally worth fighting, like, just to get the levels, just, you got the magic for it.
Yeah, and, well, you're going to be forced to take this fight now.
It's experience.
Yeah, no, this is a pretty good fight to take, honestly. I guess if jkoper is going to check the treasure chest on this floor, it's good to have a lot of AoE. Because there's a lot of 9-packs and 4-packs here.
With Warp, I like checking this floor, because, yeah, the walk to get to them is a little long, but there's a lot of chests on this floor. It's very chest dense, and it's easy to warp back to the central point and go out onto the next spoke and get another 4 to 6 chests. This is a floor I actually really like.
Oh, hey, the red mage just had it and didn't have it equipped, so... And that is the only weapon that Elastoid has right now.
Yeah, I'm not certain what his plan was there, but okay.
I mean, just hanging on the mantle when you're done at the end of the game.
People do that. I hear it's very tasteful.
Alright, so nothing particularly exciting in these groups.
But now you're ready to go and take out Tiamat, and as you noted, we have a bait sword we can fling at it.
So the reason I brought up level 24 as kind of your endgame goal is because that's when you get another hit on the vanilla Masmian. And we've just discovered that nachos have death touch, so this is going to be even dicier run across the finish line here. Because they show up in 2-packs.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully this isn't a pack that hits that hard here that he got hit by. Well, unless the black mage gets punched by golems. But I'm not feeling it as much as I was before that red mage got killed.
Yeah, I mean, he should be fine in most instances. He does have a quite well-armored knight, and has plenty of tempers to go around. The big issue is going to be if he runs into Warmech. Warmech is going to probably destroy him if he's unrunnable.
Yeah. Well, as we see, his fighter is wearing the ice armor -1. Steel armor +6 should be much better than that, aside from the fact that you don't get the elemental bonus, right?
You don't, so, I mean, Inferno's going to do full damage, but Punch is going to do way less, so... Seems like a good trade. Oh, jackpot. Alright, has Elastoid finished farming?
Seems like. I didn't catch what level he's at, but it does look like he's done now.
Probably 32. Because there's no way that he was fast enough to hit 42 yet.
Not with the number of characters he had standing still.
Although, if he's not quite there yet, he can also bounce and try to find a better tile, and, Ordeals is pretty good for that.
Eat some sandwiches.
Alright, so Koper is just doing swing and nuke, which I can't really blame him for, and it looks like Tiamat rolled low enough defense where that Masmian is getting through, no problem.
Yep. There it goes. That Tiamat is down. Yeah, benefiting from the fact that he got the white shirt early so he could cast that defense, it made that fight a lot more manageable than it could have been otherwise. And Elastoid murdering that poor guy standing there guarding the crown area for ordeals. The monster.
It's elder abuse.
So, not sure Coper's turned in that herb, still looking for the key, coming over here to see so he can get his 4th orb lit, but that's still going to leave him in a position where he needs that key one way or another. Even with 4 orbs lit, he still will not be in go mode because there is a door in Temple of Fiends that requires the key.
So we need the key, we need the loot yet, and I think at this point one of the two has to be an ordeal, so we'll see which one he gets. The funny thing, though, is we have a lot of fetch quests to go. So this is probably going to be bottle into adamant into key, and it's going to be no fun for anyone. Oh, that is true. Have we seen fast? We have now. Good check. Good check.
Makes the Black Wizard more useful. Second slot in on-rack, is that Red Mage learnable? Red Wizard learnable?
Nope.
Okay, so that's not a check Elastoid's going to bother with.
The other thing, too, is that the Red Mage probably isn't going to get spell charges for that in time be worthwhile, so yeah, just having it on just the Black Mage is fine. Okay, so you should have taken your Bane Sword and done this fight. I mean, for real, he'd be at 42 right now.
Yeah, that's $5,000 for 3 of them. That was a huge amount of EXP. Looks like he might actually be... Oh! Hey, look at that. He's going to be doing a 2-man here.
Yeah, he's doing a 2-man, and he has to, because he reset out of the Bane Sword. That's probably why he's crumbling to himself right now.
He does look like he has a bit of an expression on what we can see of his face. Unfortunately, his turn order is being really good, i.e. not as good as he'd like, because he just can't get that Red Mage to die.
I mean, one way to guarantee that the mage dies is to just do null actions for all 3 of them. Show off that Masmi and see how they like it.
I'm just going to punch him.
Yeah,
there we go. That's starting to do it.
So yeah, the big problem with Germaduses and grinding is that you need to have an AoE. So if you don't have the Thor Hammer, you don't have the Thor Hammer, Bane Sword, or Mage Staff, you can't really make efficient use of the style.
Now we'll get this 2-man going. I don't suspect he's gonna let the other Red Mage die at this point. That would seem a little risky to my tastes.
I like that he ran from the 4-pack. It's like this fish isn't big enough to feed my family. Throw it away.
That's one of those strats that I've actually started picking up on as well. It's the knowing when a tile is actually worth it and how worth it's going to be at certain groupings, and if you know a grouping can go larger, maybe run from the pack that's only giving you 3 or 4 of them instead. That's a smart move right there.
Oh yeah, MG Weirdo also pointing out the Zeus Gauntlet is the thing that exists that our runners have found.
If they still have it, that's like Germadusas don't really have that much health. Apparently they do have a little over 160.
Yeah, so if they roll low, it's doable with the Thor Hammer. If they roll high, then you need Mage Staff or Bane Sword.
So with that, that does give jkoper. I mean, we were focused on the grind and discussing the Gurmaduces, but jkoper did have a very easy fight against Kraken. Looks like he's done in there, and he's moving on now with his 4 orbs lit, and he just has to figure out where that key is.
Yeah, so right now, he's in pretty good shape. He will probably pick up a couple more levels just in the process of this, which is fine. And he's about to high five Elastoid in ordeals. So, Elastoid kind of on the back foot here. If this turns out to be a fairly straightforward Temple of Fiends, jkoper's not going to have any problem with it. He's got fast, he's got plenty of tempers to go around. He has a statue that can wave a white shirt around. Looks pretty good.
And he's coming here where Elastoid is at with 2 crystals up and an adamant to do. And I don't think Elastoid has done Waterfall yet, so it's going to be a question of whether or not Elastoid immediately follows this adamant or decides to go and do Waterfall next.
Oh, 100% he's going to skip Waterfall as long as he can. I guess, yeah, he's got his Oxyal already, so it won't be too bad, but he's going to try to not double dip it.
Well, considering the area he's in, first move since he's here could be to go over to Sky Palace and just knock that out next.
I guess that's true. He doesn't know that that's the white shirt, so it would make sense. So yeah, especially it being a Gurmadusa tile, yeah, throw some nukes in there, see what happens. Get the mages up to 24 at least, and that'll be a pretty good spot for him to be in. Oh, well, Zombol just gave the evil eye. Oh, this
very
is
dirty look. Oh,
that's kind of a cruel tile. All right, never mind.
So yeah, Elastoid bouncing over here into Sky Palace, gonna take this one out.
Yeah, I don't know if that knight has a pro ring right now. I know jkoper has them, but he did some rearrangement when a few people died. But I mean, the knight's already 24. You can get a little bit of extra experience on the mages, I suppose, or you can just run from this too.
Cracker was pointing out, and somehow I missed it. I thought it was lit, and maybe I just have bad eyes. We are still also missing the loot, so there are 2 turn-ins to do. Could be that both the herb and the adamant lead to those, though.
Hey, what if they painted the loot gray, huh? You don't know.
It's very Rockstar at that point.
So there are definitely some good groups to take down. Pretty nice mid-tier large groups like the mummies, whiz mummies, the sorcerers on this floor. Everyone hates the gargoyles though. Alright, well he's got plenty of AoE to get through this, so it should be fine. Alright, Elastoid is, about to wave the white shirt. He'll feel a little defeated about that.
It's like tempting a bull. He'll just wave the shirt a bit and then punch it.
Yeah, Banesword was one of the duds. It was in,
Uh-huh.
That was
Lufane.
Lufane, yes. Leffen, however. I think we found the katana at some point too. It was fairly early.
And so very useful to us at this point.
No, I mean, the earlier you get it in this seed, the better off you are, or this flag set, because you can sell it. It's a cash tana.
Could have used it for that TNT.
All right,
The
so
bottle.
yeah.
Hey, weren't we just over there? How nice. Uh-oh, Koper, did you turn in your herb? Have you remembered the herb exists?
Well, I mean, hopefully he remembers the loot and/or key. Otherwise, that's going to give Elastoid precious time to catch up. Oh, he doesn't know about the nachos at all, and Elastoid will continue not knowing about the nachos.
Elastoid came hungry, left full. So we're gonna see just how long it takes for this black belt to punch Tiamat down. Right there. That was exactly how long it took.
Yeah, level 40 right now, so I think is that red mage like 39 as well?
Yeah. That red mage has been alive this whole time.
I feel like that's a little excessive. Jkoper finding the key though, which is pretty important. So now
still just has to worry about that loot.
Now, I don't know. He's being very protective of that herb. It looks like Elastoid wants to pick up Cure 4, so here's a late promotion.
Koper flying over here to town.
We've had promotions as well, so that heal 3 is going to look pretty good on that night.
Elastoid promoting this late isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, the MDef growth on that monk is not going to be as good as it was as a black belt because of the quirks of Final Fantasy, but he was already level 40. The MDef that he's leaving on the table is really marginal at this point. Canaria locked. I forgot this was one of the incentives.
Yeah, and I'm curious if Koper's going to dig out. Yep, here's a bunch of free chests. So who knows? Maybe he finds an opal or dragon armor. Nope, just a loot.
Silver helm. But he's in go.
Stinking loot. Who needs it?
Besides, he does in fact want that silver helm.
So he has no ribbon right now. So I'm curious to see if he's going to go dig some more of these out. Because Temple of Fiends without a ribbon is absolutely terrifying.
It is.
And it's probably the only out that Elastoid has right now.
It can be done. I've seen it done. But there are enough instant death spells on the Fiends, and those instant death spells hit pretty regularly if you don't have a ribbon, that going in without one is going to be very risky. And no white mage to cast wall.
Yeah, you've got 2 zaps, 2 banes, and a crack, and then you stack that on top of Inferno, Thunder, Poison. There's a lot of nasty stuff there that plays way bigger when you don't have a ribbon.
I think jkoper forgot where the pro rings were.
Oh, he's in the right spot for the gold bracelets, which is also a pretty big pickup.
I mean, it was interesting to see him selling stuff. I have done that if I have one item to get rid of from my inventory and I realize that I just sell it in the shop just to be gone with it, but I don't go through and clean out my entire inventory. That was interesting. I don't know if it was faster or not, but it was interesting. Putting the gold bracelet on that statue, I have a feeling that black belt's going to be coming alive again just to get punched out.
Yeah, just, wave the surrender flag. And we're going to get our first look at Temple of Fiends at around the 109 mark.
Big question I have, has Koper bought Life? Was Life even available at a level he could learn it?
I think he does have life on the red mage, or no,
Okay.
he doesn't, because yeah, he didn't pick up that knight after it got murdered.
So this is a very bold strategy then, Cotton. This
Yeah,
is, I think this is him knowing how good Elastoid is and feeling the pressure to get this done.
yeah, and I think, jkoper opened up enough chests to probably find, probabilistically find one ribbon. It just wasn't there, and that's just, randomizer is going to do that to you. I was curious to see if you would dig out some more of those key chests. There's dwarves, there's Elfland, there's I suppose the Temple of Fiends chest as well, but you also have Northwest Castle. And it's just, yeah, the problem is you run into things like this, and it's brutal on you. Like, anything that has even one of those strange or standard elemental attacks is going to do so much damage. And if jkoper takes a wipe, Elastoid is firmly in the driver's seat.
I mean, there's a lot of ways for Elastoid to catch up. He still has a couple turn-ins he has to do, but he has the items to do them at this point. He also has a freight train of a black belt and a surprisingly beefy red mage. So there are many ways for Elastoid to catch up. He's going to be coming in at probably a 3 or 4 minute deficit, but he's not going to probably have to spend anywhere near as long in battle. Yeah, he very well may not have to worry as much about healing even. It's going to be the question of just how long, like how much of a lead Koper can build that Elastoid is going to struggle to get past. And yeah, one wipe from Koper and that's all gone.
I mean, really, a lot of it comes down to, what do the fiends decide to do? What are their turn orders look like? But this is pretty terrifying for sure. And yeah, just look just like that. And hey, Elastoid's got a full set of orbs.
I feel like this entire seed could be labeled "It's a bold move."
Well, there's the tornado, one of the ones you definitely don't want to see. And yeah, my kingdom for a fire 3.
As long as Lich keeps punching that knight, though, everything is fine.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's pretty integral to jkoper's strategy, is saving those nuke and fade charges to get through Kraken and Tiamat fast.
Yeah. He can throw out Hail Mary Banes as well with that Bane sword that he has.
It's like you don't want to give the fiends any ideas, so... Oh, is that Bane? Here, let me show you how it works.
Call that a Bane. Going all-out damage, which I kind of appreciate, although bad turn order right there. Ooh! Oh! Oh, no.
Barely hanging on there. Well, the white shirt might not be the best option here. All right.
No.
Well, that punch got to go top. No.
Oh, that's not good. I mean, Carrie came out with that punch real early. I'm not certain that Red Mage was going to get saved no matter what.
Well, the Red Mage could have also Cure Ford itself if jkoper had gone back and picked that spell up.
There is that. Well, we're on to 2-man strats now.
Oh, well, I hope you like experience.
I hope you like forced experience, because you're going to have to take it.
I mean, at this point, anything that you can get is probably good. Because this is it. This is jkoper's dive. Elastoid is setting foot in the Temple of Fiends at 114.
Look back on the rails behind you. That freight train is coming.
The sound of inevitability.
Now I have quotes from the Matrix going through my head.
Yeah, they got the mystic key from the second movie.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that reference.
All right, so this is going to be an odd fight. The white shirt coming out certainly is going to help, but this is.
There's one thing I would have done right off the bat that Koper didn't do, and that is he's got soft potions. I would have unstoned that black belt, thrown him up front, moved the knight down to the third slot, and just let.
Jesus, that's fast.
Oh god, yeah, and I would have just let the black belt. I would have just let the black belt just be punched down because, yeah. He's not doing much good at this statue.
Alright, Quad X is good too. Yeah. Oh god.
Very nice. So, that was a clench up moment.
Yeah, but don't look now. Elastoid's on the earth floor.
Yeah, freight train. Freight train is a coming. And this is what I'm saying about the time that Koper is having to spend healing. Ooh. Oh, good. Good, got away from that. Good. Ooh. Oh, God, no! No!
You gotta nuke this group.
Just use the nuke.
I know he's trying to save resources, but you just have to. Oh, now you're gonna wish you did it. They have Blaze.
Oh!
No. I think this is the end of the road for jkoper.
Yeah, I mean, it's still entirely possible, but the longer he has to spend... The longer he has to spend buffing himself with the white shirt is the longer the fiends have a chance to start casting nasty spells against him, or punching him before he's fully evaded, and he only has 10 heal pots left.
Yeah, and he only has a vanilla Masmian, so yeah, this is
man mode.
Oh, this is not gonna happen.
That's not with a punchy Tiamat against this, no. I mean, he gave it a darn good try, but...
Yeah, and I mean, everything stacked up reasonably well for him.
Yeah.
It was just, didn't thaw out the petrified black belt.
Yeah. I feel like that was the first big mistake of that run, was not putting the lawn gnome up front with a soft potion on him so that he could take those first couple of hits and just act as the ablative meat shield.
Yeah.
That right there was a major issue.
And the second thing was didn't use nuke.
Yeah. So it's going to be very hard for Elastoid's double 40s to be knocked down at this point. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah, he has a nearly indestructible party at this point. I mean, we've seen some pretty rough chaoses, but that black belt is just not going to let chaos have very many turns. It's really going to require some 3 and 256 nonsense.
Well...
Oh, he's obliging with that rub down there.
I mean, there was a chance there with the red mages weren't, like getting away from this battle that they could have been knocked down, and that would have changed the math a fair bit. We saw how punchy that Tiamat was. Yeah, just getting the tempers out. Black Belt just makes like solid meat out of that dragon right there, and we are already on to the next step. Doesn't even bother healing. Throws those Cure Force around like they're candy. And we are on to Chaos. So we get our buffs out, we're getting powered up, gonna get this fight starting to go. Plenty of tempers out. Rub actually hits one of the red mages, takes it out, but I mean, he's already getting 10 hits for 692, and Chaos with the scaling.
Oh gosh.
Well.
Oh, Chaos throwing out a nuclear, so I mean, that would have been kind of bad news for jkoper's party, no matter how you sliced it. I mean, we didn't see a lot of nasty stuff, so it makes sense that it all ends up here, right?
Yep. So Chaos has already at about his standard health, and with that at time and a half of his standard health, Elastoid has finished. Looks very pleased with himself, and with an official race time GG time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, 54 seconds. Elastoid is the first of our runners here to finish the Temple of Fiends. Unfortunately, soon after, jkoper did DNF on the race. So I'm going to see if we can get both of them in for interviews at this point.
All right. Yeah, get out your GGs for Elastoid. Pretty crucial win in a tough pod, so...
Yeah. Oh, that's a brutal pod right there between Elastoid and Cheesinator, Gouda, and even jkoper. Koper, all four of them are solid players. You can see Koper was in the Temple of Fiends at an hour 09. It's just, didn't quite line up for him. I would not want him to face any of these guys in this seed here.
Well, jkoper's going to give this another try, see if he has a little bit better luck here.
We'll see if they could have come in. I've sent them an invite. We'll see how long it takes for them to show up, though.
Also, while we've got a little bit of time, thanks to Shadowed Flames for doing the tracking in the background. Very, very detailed notes here, so incredibly helpful. Appreciate all the appreciate all the hard work.
And we're joined in the booth by Elastoid. GG's, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So I saw in race time that you were watching the end of that race. That was a lot closer than I think you might have wanted.
Oh, it was way closer than I would have wanted. That's the second race in a row where grinding a black belt turned into a huge liability.
Did you wish you had that Bane sword?
No.
It
about it.
Works pretty good against green Medusas.
Against Gurmaduces, it would have been fine, but I mean, at that point, I still had another trap tile to go, and I didn't know what was on it, so it wasn't likely to want to like Dan everybody and just hope that I have a single black belt and get out of there. I was perfectly fine grinding it too, man. I was pretty much all in on a difficult Temple of Fiends Revisited, or basically hoping jkoper used fighter strats, and it didn't work out because I've found they often don't work out.
Well, GG jkoper, who also joins us in the booth, you were our first in the Temple of Fiends, and but for that nasty Tiamat, you were putting on a heck of a rundown through there.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I felt pretty good about most of this, other than the couple wipes I had, but they could have been more costly, I guess. I think that dying deep in Volcano isn't as bad as dying deep in most dungeons, I guess, because of all the lava tiles. There aren't really that many encounters to get back there, so
yeah.
I did screw up my routing though. I should have gone back to Volcano before going north, and I should have got I knew that the Oxia was there, but yeah, I didn't plan on just keeping the fighter and leaving the black belt stone, but I didn't have any soft potions, and the fighter was doing pretty good work on his own, so I said, let's just go with this and get the better experience this way, I guess. Yeah, where'd you do your grinding at?
So I tried Earth Cave, and the slimes were ambush happy, so it just took a long time because I couldn't get Cure 4 until I class changed. So I tried Iron Galls, and those, they were pretty beefy, both in HP and Absorb, and so that was that. I just wasted a bunch of time trying to do that, and that was off the table. So I wound up finishing the grind at Ordeals, because I was like, I haven't done Ordeals, and there's 3 trap tiles there. Maybe there's going to be something better. And there was with the Gurmaduces.
Oh, interesting. Wait, how are you killing the Gurmaduces?
Well, I had 2 red mages. So
yeah, you're just doing a 3-man grind?
Well, I wound up actually doing a 2-man grind. So I wound up, when I went in there, I was pretty much guaranteed not to wipe, because I had a level 42 red mage on top of my 42 black belt.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, the Iron Goals were the thing that stuck out to me. I killed the ones on the vampire floor and got 14k experience out of that, which was just crazy for that point in the race. So yeah, I certainly would have considered grinding that more if I wanted to grind, but it felt worth giving it a try.
Huge amount of XP, but it was such a barrier to get to, you're spending most of your time healing up after, because they were swinging for 100 or 80 to 100 each time on my red mage. So there was no way that I was going to get the black belt able to solo them. So it was just time to move on. Anyone who says that black belts make everything easy is incorrect. They make if you can find a grind tile, that's easy, but that's sort of like saying, fighters make everything easy if you can find mass mune early, which you did.
Right. Yeah. The mass mune was pretty free. I got it really easy. Volcano was the first dungeon I entered, so, well, other than Temple of Fiends, I guess, if you want to count that. Yeah. I need to stop wiping before saving my initial party. That's
Oh, did that happen?
yeah, it did.
That's a drag. Those. What I don't know if I saw anything.
Well, the imps had something.
They had rub. They had rub. I did see that. I wound up. I saved my party, but I did wipe in Temple of Fiends Revisited, or in the original Temple of Fiends, I believe.
Yeah. I wiped outside. But yeah, I hadn't saved because I'd buy cabins and then I go over there and save, and it was too much money. And then I thought about using a cabin before I got to the thing, and then I, didn't act quickly enough. So, whatever, it's okay. I wasn't expecting to win this. It sounds like I, made it pretty exciting though. So
You did.
Yeah, it was fun, and look forward to my race against Gouda tomorrow night, I guess.
Oh yeah, best of luck in that one.
Yeah, thank you. Am I your last one? How did it go for you?
I started out with a loss against Cheeseinator because, well, I mean, I didn't actually finish the seed, so I don't know what my time would have been, but I lost a significant amount of time losing a grind to rock galls and mud galls. So yeah, black belts have not been kind to me today so far. But other than that, I have another race with Gouda in something like an hour.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
just about.
All right, good luck with that.
In 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 30 seconds.
Ed, you got any other questions for our runners?
I think that about covers it.
Awesome. Well, let's do final thoughts then, and we can let SpeedGaming start preparing SG2 for their next race then. Elastoid, our winner, final thoughts from you on this race.
Oh yeah, big thanks to you guys for commentating. Big thanks to Shadow for tracking. Thanks to SpeedGaming for hosting this tournament. It's been pretty fun and I thought fairly well managed. So thanks all around.
jkoper, final thoughts.
No, I am, I'm just happy to get all my races in, really. But I wasn't expecting to do much in this, just having fun with it. But thanks, guys, for putting on the show, and looking forward to next time.
Yeah, thank you. That was really a good race, all things considered. You kept up really well.
Yeah, thanks.
Edge, any final thoughts from you?
No, that was a pretty close one, and again, it was good to see two varying strategies, and I think things could have gone either way.
I want to thank my co-commentator Edgeworth for joining me in the booth. Make sure you follow our runners Elastoid and jkoper. They put on one heck of a show. SpeedGaming 2 will continue with the SpeedGaming Live tournaments in just a few minutes. But while you have a little bit of time, we invite you to come over and check out FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. Find the randomizer right there, as well as being able to join the communities as well. We have our tournament community as well as our dev community links there on the website. You can play, you can have fun, you can join us. We have a lot of great stuff coming up in the next few weeks, including for all those new players, a Duckling Boot Camp that will help you learn the game and then get you ready to play in our Duckling Derby that will be starting up in January. So you can play with other new players and see what the game is all about and have a lot of fun as we slowly lead into our spring tournament coming up early next year. Until next time, I want to thank SpeedGaming for hosting us, and we will see you guys later.